All right, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. Now, we finally have a date, boys. December, UFC 296 in Las Vegas. Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington. It is about goddamn time. We have all known that this was the fight for a very long time. We've just been waiting for the date to get announced, and now we finally have it. And I'm very happy that we do. I'm happy that it's not in 2024 also, because that would have been ridiculous. The welterweight division deserves this, dude. They have been stagnant for far too long. I don't think there's a single top 10 fight scheduled at this moment aside from these two, which is crazy. So hopefully they're able to book some guys to fight on the undercard of this so that we have clarity moving forward. I don't want an immediate rematch. I don't care who wins. They should fight somebody else. We need the welterweight division to get moving. It's crazy how stagnant it's been. Now, let's talk about the fight itself a little bit. I won't go too deeply into it, but I do want to touch on it briefly. I do think Leon Edwards will probably get this one done. Now, with that being said, Colby Covington can absolutely win this fight. He has a style that Leon Edwards hasn't necessarily faced before. Now, I understand that Kamaru Usman has similar aspects, a lot of forward pressure, takedown attempts, and things like this. The difference is the volume of Colby Covington, the volume of the takedown attempts, the volume of his punches and kicks and everything. The guy is nonstop, start to finish. The only guy who he hasn't just completely squished up against the cage, been able to push forward the entire time, is Kamaru Usman, and that's because Usman kind of does that to him. And where Colby had the volume, Usman had the power. So they both had to respect each other, and they kind of just met in the center and fought like fucking wild animals for essentially 10 rounds. So, and if I'm being honest, dude, I think Colby Covington not should have won the second fight, but it should have been a draw. Okay, that's my opinion. I think he won 3 rounds. Usman won 2 with a 10-8 mixed in there. Colby Covington is an absolute savage. He gets hurt badly in that Usman fight in the first 2 rounds and comes back and does work. The dude is an animal. Now, in my opinion, Leon Edwards' striking is just a little bit too good for Colby Covington, and I think that he's going to be able to keep him kind of at bay, at kicking range, with all of his long-range weapons. Something that is going to be very interesting to see during this fight is, as I just spoke about, Colby Covington really likes to push forward. He likes to push the pace and get his opponents backed up against the cage with tons of volume, takedown attempts, punches on the feet, kicks, things like this, and then he does work like that. Leon Edwards oftentimes accepts the back foot. He's not all that concerned about it. Like against Usman, he did it. And if I'm not mistaken, in the Bilal fight, when he opened him up with that head kick, he was on the back foot, pushed up against the cage, but he just whipped that shit up like right now. He'll accept the back foot because he's so good at moving laterally along the outside of the cage that he can still manage with his like kicks and shit like that. Like he doesn't need to be moving forward to use his kicking game. He can do it moving laterally up against the cage, which is something that a lot of guys have troubles with. Also, Leon Edwards' takedown defense is so fucking good. We saw this against Kamaru Usman. It's like this new modern takedown defense that we've started seeing guys start to implement, start to adapt into using, which is attacking the hands immediately. Even if a guy gets in on a good shot, if you make sure his hands don't get locked, the chances of him taking you down drop drastically. Now, for me, the difference between Colby and Usman is going to be the amount of takedown attempts that we see. Okay, because Usman doesn't shoot as much. Like, he'll shoot, and if he doesn't get it, and the guy's able to get off the cage, he kind of waits a bit before he shoots again. Whereas Colby Covington is non-stop, in your face, mixing it up, punches, and he's very, very good at throwing punches and then dropping his level. He mixes it up really well. And as I said, relentless. Like, he just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. You know, the Robbie Lawler fight's a good example. I know it's Robbie Lawler, but still, the amount of takedowns that he attempted in that fight is fucking insane, especially considering he threw more than 500 significant strikes, which is also insane. So, that's something that I think is going to be different from the Usman fights for Leon Edwards. Like, it's not as simple as we saw him able to defend Usman's takedowns, and someone doing MMA math might be like, well, Usman's stronger and is also a wrestler, so if he wasn't able to take down Leon Edwards, then Colby Covington shouldn't be either. But Colby Covington, I would argue, has better wrestling technique. The reason him and Usman were such a stalemate in that department is because, again, much like the power versus the volume on the feet, Usman's got the strength, the physical strength, and Covington's got the edge and technique, and it kind of just canceled itself out because they're not far in skill level. They have different attributes. So defending takedowns against Covington is going to be different than defending them against Usman, because Covington's going to be nonstop in your face, mixing them up really well with his strikes, and he's not going to stop. You can stuff multiple takedowns. As long as he's not getting punished on his way in, he'll keep going. I just think that at range, it's going to be a problem for him. Now, look, Colby Covington, he's not a great striker, but I feel as though people kind of downplay his striking ability. He's not shit, okay? He's not horrible. It's just that some of the stuff that he does looks like it's kind of in slow motion. Like, he is not a fast twitch guy. He's just not. He runs long distances. He's cardio. We all know that, right? So he's not a fast twitch guy. So his shit doesn't look snappy. It doesn't look real powerful or anything like that. But he definitely has his moments, dude. Like in the Usman fight, when he kicked him to the body, that was 100% not a nut shot. That is, the eye poke one is a little iffy because it does look like Covington eye poked him in the opposite eye. So the time would have been stopped regardless. It was just that Usman was having the ref wipe out the other eye that Covington had landed a shot on before that. That body kick was not a nut shot. It just wasn't, dude. That was clean to the body, crystal clear, clear as fucking day. Usman was clearly hurt to the body. And he, credit to him, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, fucking played it up, got the timeout. It was kind of bullshit, but it is what it is. I don't know if he's going to be able to land those same weapons on a guy like a Leon Edwards, because Leon Edwards' striking is so much better than Kamaru Usman's. Now, he might be able to have those moments if he's mixing everything up nicely and all that shit, but something else that he's going to have to look out for is the clinch game of Leon Edwards, right? So if he gets tied up in a clinch scenario, if he shoots a takedown and he's unable to get it, and then he kind of comes up with double unders and thinks that he, just push Leon up against the cage for a little bit, maybe work for another takedown, chain wrestle a little bit. Leon's got nasty fucking elbows in the clinch. Nasty. And they're sneaky, very sly, slicing elbows, not big power blunt ones, but he'll just slice it right across your forehead. The dude is nasty in the clinch. If Colby Covington had a fucking very dangerous submission game, I would actually might lean towards him a little bit more. That's one knock on him that I think is worthy, is that he doesn't have, once he gets you to the ground, that's about it. Do you know what I mean? He'll threaten a choke, but we all know he's not going to sink it in. I can't remember the last time he got a rear naked choke. Do you know what I mean? But he always threatens them. Against Robbie Lawler, against Jorge Masvidal. He takes you down, he takes your back, he gets one hook in, he's content there, and he'll hit you a little bit, and then he'll try but he's just doing it to make you uncomfortable. He'll put his arm across your face, he'll crush your chin will be tucked into the side, and he'll just be crushing it. He doesn't really care, he's not looking for the choke. I do wish, however, now that is a bit soul-sucking when you have a guy on you who's just making you feel uncomfortable from start to finish. Hitting you with little shots and then crunching your face and then hitting you with little shots, crunching your face from the other side. It does suck. But I wish that he had a bit more finishing ability on the ground, especially considering getting a takedown is such a big part of his game. Do you know what I mean? So that's one thing where I feel as though if Colby Covington had a legit submission game, a legit Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game, that he would be able to finish a lot more guys and win against the guys that he loses against, because it's something that he's lacking in a little bit. But again, I just think that Leon's going to be a bit too much on the feet. I think you'll be able to keep him at range. I think that Colby Covington will definitely push him up against the cage, but I think Leon's going to almost allow it because he doesn't mind, dude. He'll just move laterally. And Colby Covington, not a super high level striker, is going to have to make the adjustment. You can't be following this dude. If you follow Leon Edwards, he will set you up with some shit. You have to cut him off because he will be moving laterally against the cage the whole time, as I said. And if you're following him, it's going to be exhausting for you. I mean, it'll be exhausting for Leon Edwards, but you're not going to be able to find your shots. He'll be able to find all of his. That's what he wants, is for you to follow him. So, anyways, dude. Very happy they made this fight. Very happy we get it before the end of the year. Can't fucking wait to find out who wins. And I can't fucking wait to find out who's next. Now, like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I'll see you at the next video. Bye-bye.